Welcome back, everyone. I'm so grateful for this beautiful conversation. Another beautiful conversation this morning. I always love talking to our clients because my cheeks start to hurt. They've been hurting all morning because I've been talking to clients this morning. And I have another beautiful being, person, soul sister that I would love to introduce you to because I feel like when we got to know each other, especially when we saw each other in person, there was this immediate soul sister. This happened online too. We just knew. It was like we knew. And then when we discovered we were both Aquarian, and the way our minds think and the way our energy works and having 1,000 different like wonderful projects that we like to dive into, just the way that we, oftentimes she'll ask a question. I'm like, I can track with you. Like I got you. And I think it's because our minds work so similarly. And when we met in person, there was just such incredible love and joy and bubbliness and care. And even to the point where she saw me running around doing a million things. And we were trying to get this espresso maker up and running. And I turn around and she knows I love a good espresso. And so she makes me the most delicious espresso. And I was like, oh, my heart was just so full. So, Amelia Corbin, I am so grateful that you are here with us. Thank you for taking the time to come and speak to the community today.
Thank you so much. It's quite the intro.
I would love for you to share with everybody who you are in the world as well and the work that you do, because I know you're up to some beautiful things. I know you're getting ready to expand your work in the world, like your true purpose and work in the world. But I'd love for everybody to hear even just a little bit of what you were doing before we even met, and then also what you're getting ready to really step into, because I know there's some big, beautiful things happening.
Sure. Thank you. So prior to you guys, I had been working in multimedia and communications. And so
Mhm.
that had always been, that's a multifaceted world. Way back in the day, I'm putting a little bit of a date on me here, back when there were newspaper departments and things like
Yes.
that. So I was working with those guys, keeping succinct communication. So I've always been able to
Wow.
manage a lot and keep
Hmm.
communication straight and keep multiple communications straight. And in fact, I thrive in it. Um,
Yeah.
but that was at a time where, I was good at what I did. I wasn't good
Mhm.
at being me. I was just good at doing a lot. And,
Right.
that's fulfilling from a career standpoint because you get a heck of a lot done and you turn a lot of heads
Mhm.
when you're doing like how did that get done in that short period of time? So
Mhm.
that was a fun thrill for a while, until it was just empty, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I mean, there's only so many years you can do that before you burn out, and then you're looking in the mirror again. How many
Right.
times do you want to do that? So
Yeah.
yeah, so I mean, I would say that about 2 years ago, I started looking at the bigger picture and wondering, okay, how many times can I cycle around starting a company, having it succeed or having it fail? Both have happened, before I come back and look in the mirror again, and I'm missing
Yeah.
something. What is it? And I was missing who I am. I was missing,
Yeah.
and I mean, this is a narrative that I had in my head a long, long time ago,
Mhm.
but I didn't see the importance of it. I didn't see the relevance of it, and it's
Yeah.
not like I could monetize it, right? And so
Yeah.
I didn't put my focus there. And so in all of my to and fro's and all my goings, I didn't develop me at all as a the spiritual being that I am. And
Mhm.
so a couple of years ago I had the opportunity, I'm calling it an opportunity. Let's call it a hard nudge to discover this part of myself. And I would say 2 years ago was when I began asking the questions, being open to what the answers are, things like that, and digging into courses and so on and so forth. But it was actually after, and I'm sure that the audience can relate, where when you're open to something or you're exploring something, there's something there next, and then
Yeah.
you go and do that next thing, and it'll lead you to the next. So this was actually through. I took my mom for a spa day. The masseuse and I got into a discussion, and she actually was a former client of yours. And that's how I came to you guys. And I had been asking, like, where do I fit in? Like me as me, where do I fit in? I don't know how to take care of myself that I've been neglecting all these years, and I need my space. I don't know where my people are. And boom, I found you guys. So that's what led me to you.
I love that. And we have to give shout outs to Michelle because that was like the divine alignment and orchestration of that is so beautiful.
it was pretty incredible the way all of that happened. Feels like a bit of a pinball, and then you
Yes.
arrive and it's like, oh, thank God for all that. So I have I've always had a calling. I've known this since I was a child. And it's no surprise, I guess, actually, in hindsight, looking back, that you don't see that as your
Yeah.
your path. because that's just who I was. I can only really appreciate it now. But I've always been drawn to, and people have always been drawn to me who are suffering. They've
Yeah.
either, it's hurts. I've always been very
Yeah.
empathetic. I can feel people's hurts. And so I would say in my later years, 20 plus, it was actually trauma based.
Yeah.
It was a lot of trauma based people
Yeah.
and conversations I was having. And so I wasn't prepared for the heaviness of that. I was
Yeah.
definitely prepared for the conversation, and I handled the conversations well, but it affected me so deeply. I didn't know what to do with all of it. It was just a lot of information. And so just like you would go to any school to learn and refine anything, if you want to be a good teacher, you want to be a good whatever, you've got to study, practice,
That's right.
and be open to new ways of learning. And so
That's right.
that's where I began with you guys, was that I really wanted to take my work in this world up to the point of purpose. And what does that look like? Just showing
Hmm.
up exactly as the dedicated person that I am, I was still missing a lot. I was missing my community support for sure. I didn't have that because you can't just go out into the world and say, "Hey, this is exactly who I am," when there's a lot of brokenness,
That's right.
right? Because
Hmm.
I mean, anyone who does that just ends up hurting themselves. And
Yeah.
so I knew that if I was going to represent my purpose well, that I had to do it with a proper community. I
Yeah.
just knew it. And so,
Mm.
so now I'm actually working with women specifically who have experienced varying degrees of trauma, and I'm helping them move that energy through so that it stops the patterns that they continually cycle through.
Yeah.
And that's
That's
because
so
of,
powerful.
yeah, I could not have done it. I actually refined my I defined my purpose, and I was able to actually action it. All of these action
Mhm.
items came from this group. It came from the support because, like you, Tara, we're up and all over the place all the time,
Mhm.
and I absolutely love that. I love being everywhere all at once, but it's really difficult when there's one step that you have to
That's
take
right.
and you have all of these things. And so
Yeah.
you guys have just been, I don't even know how to extend the gratitude for being able to take all of that and like, okay, here are your steps. Here's the things that you should do. And
Yeah.
it's making, I mean, I've only really just begun. I'm honing in on certain areas, and all of these other experiences that I've had along the way. Those are now relevant. I wouldn't have taught from
Yes.
them prior to this place, but now I can include them. So it's kind of like the
Yes.
package deal, I think.
I love that so, so much. And I know, like, I know and recall the conversations that we've had just around all the different pieces, because this is the thing I have to let everybody know too. When you have a very creative mind, you want to create so much in the world. There's so much that you know you can do and that you're capable of doing. And it can feel overwhelming because there's so many different bubbles of possibility. And so when we were sitting down, and when you just land on something, like so many times you and I were having conversations and we both were like, we'd get the, we get the expansion, or you drop me a voice note and you'd say, oh my gosh, this is kind of what I'm feeling. And I'm like, oh my God. And I would feel it again. And it's so nice to be able to have that as an experience, as a reflector back, because sometimes it can get a little crazy in, sifting and sorting through all of that. But to be able to have this reaffirmation as well, and that's been so beautiful to witness for you. And now to watch you land in it and now take the steps is just like so incredible.
Thank
It's
you.
so incredible because now you're really going to get to see the fruition of those steps, and you're going to get to see the fruition and the love back, and also the impact that you're going to have now on the world and this audience to be able to really serve. And that just, like, my heart expands 100-fold in knowing that this is what you are going to be doing in the world right now. It's so exciting.
It really honestly is. I feel very complete, and I feel very grounded, and that was not even a term I understood until this group. And
Yeah.
being able to understand grounding and centering. I mean,
Yes.
how do you work how did I do anything without that? I had never been grounded before. I didn't
Right.
understand the importance of it, and there was always this unsteadiness and just chaos, and I thrived in it. Just I was just used to that.
Right.
But my gosh, having a focus and a drive and a purpose and support, It's just completely changed my life. And I can actually already see, just because of the work that's being done energetically, these people are coming into my path now, and it's ready for them.
And that's exactly it. I love that you mentioned that because I think we forget about the magic, the possibilities of what actually happens when we tend to our own energetics and the magnetism starts to kick on and turn on in positive ways. And all of a sudden, these beautiful experiences start to come to align with your center, with your truth, with your purpose, so that then you can amplify it even more. And I know that something really cool has just happened like that for you. So I'm very, very excited for what's coming next. So I would love for you to share for a moment so that people have a feeling for what it feels like being inside Thrive Community. Because I think a lot of times people hear of different communities and they know that there's different programs and there's so many different paths and places people could be at this point. And I really would love for them to have a feeling. So if you could convey the experience of what it's like being in this space in the container and the teachings, the tools, the classes.
Yeah, gosh, I would love to. What does it feel like to be in Thrive? In order to explain that, I'd have to remember what it felt like to be not a part of Thrive, because the contrast is so drastic. It feels like home for one, and it feels like a place. So for one thing, I've never really had found my people prior to this group, mainly because I didn't even know who my people were, because I didn't even know who I was. So there's number one is if you are having any issues with your identity as far as who you are in the world, what your purpose is, or any questions about who you are as a person, it was definitely a place for me to land, and it was so open and inviting and safe. And it's I could bring anything I wanted to the table, and everyone just receives it with so much love. And if you need support, there it is. And the community has just been so welcoming. And it's cool because we're such a diverse group of people. We all do different things, completely different things in some cases. Some of us overlap. And yet when it comes to our missions, we seem to always be moving in the same direction at the same time. And so the support is naturally there. It's just this beautiful, beautiful container. And I don't know how to describe it other than it's this safe place to just be who you are and develop that. And so there's so many different ways you could take that, and all of us do. And I'll highlight one particular way. I won't go into the details of it, but just recently, I didn't think that I could even do it anymore. I didn't think I could get to a low anymore. And now I understand why. Being an empath, I absorbed so much of people's energies and the ups and downs and everything. And I became completely overwhelmed, both psychologically in my body. I was exhausted and overwhelmed. And I think about 3 weeks ago, I actually stopped showing up, which I know that people do that periodically through their life, where you get down, or you have the narratives in your head, and you're not welcome there, so don't go. And it's not that kind of thing. And I had all that toxic stuff coming in, and
Yeah.
I let that overthrow the things that I know, and
Hmm.
and the path that I was on. And man, it derailed me totally. And so
Hmm.
in those 3 weeks, I felt so completely disconnected from all the things that I love and all the things that I know to be true. And I was existing outside in the world that didn't seem to have a direction. And it was back
Yeah.
into the chaos where there's narrative all over the place, but I
Yeah.
didn't belong there anymore. So I
Yeah.
actually reached out to Gabriel and said, I'm in a bit of trouble. This is only just a
Yeah.
few days ago. And I said, I'm in trouble and I need my group back. And it was my choice.
Yeah.
We had a talk and I dove back in, and of course, everything's great.
Yeah.
But so how does it feel? It feels like home. It feels like
Yeah.
home. It feels very safe, and it feels very guided and nurtured. And
Yeah.
I hope that
It's
that
so
explains it
powerful.
well.
No, it's so powerful because even as you were saying that, I could feel the emotion in my heart, but I could also feel the constriction in the throat chakra too, because this is about our expression, right? Because this is really about your expression in the world. And when we feel safe and we feel like we have a space that we can drop in, it's easier for us to express our purpose and express why we're here and express all the things, and we also feel the absence when certain people are gone. I said that to you. I'm like, we felt your absence, and then it's like you were looking, it's like you're like, hello, where are you? And then when you were feeling like, okay, I'm here, like I'm showing up again, I'm showing up, I'm here, I'm showing up, I've arrived again. there was such a lightness that I could feel. And that's part of rebirth too. And I really want people to hear that because sometimes we will check out or we will withdraw or whatever's going on inside of our being. But then to recognize, I love that you bring up the contrast because that contrast is such a powerful teacher. The contrast shows us what is good for us, what's not good for us, what's aligned, what's not aligned, what helps us, what doesn't help us, what supports us, what doesn't support us, and then to be able to choose.
Yeah.
And I believe like you highlighting that is the number one thing right now for humanity to get on board with is that they all have the power to choose. We've all always had the power to choose. And sometimes we need these contrasting experiences to then really choose. I always come back to the Moana, right? Like when you watch Moana, like we've talked about this before, where it's like
Yep.
her purpose was given to her, her life was given to her. This is what you're going to do. You're going to go restore the heart of Tafiti. And she's like, okay, great. I accept my purpose. I accept my mission. And we feel that. And then all of a sudden we go on this journey. We're like, this is hard. Eh, I don't know what is going on, but this is hard. Our challenges come. And then we're like, that's it. I'm throwing in the towel. And she throws the stone, right? She throws it back into the ocean. She's like, I'm not doing this. And it's when we let it go that when we realize, oh my God, I have to now choose it more powerfully. And she dives into the ocean, she grabs the stone, and she claims it finally. And I'm hearing and feeling that for you right now, that this is a, a great rebirth moment for you to reclaim you again. And I feel like this reclaiming is probably the biggest yet to date because you're fully reclaiming your power, your light, your energy, your mission, your purpose, who you are, your space, your community, where you know is good for you, and you're reclaiming the whole thing.
Yep.
When you do that, what comes next? Think of the Moana story, think of what she created, her hero's journey, right? So something miraculous I know is on the other side of this for you.
I agree. I had yeah, I really hit what do we call it? The dark night of the soul. So
Yeah.
I've had many of them, but I would say that this new, you know what, I will go into it for the purpose of,
Hmm.
the new addition to working with
Hmm.
people with trauma. I have battled on and off with alcoholism
Yeah.
forever, for like since I was 10 years old. And
Yeah.
so there was a bout in the last month or so where I relapsed again. And it
Yeah.
got really heavy and it got really dark. And without the perspective of energetically who I am,
Yeah.
that disconnection was more comfortable outside in
Yeah.
that world
Of
without
course.
Thrive. It was more
Hmm.
comfortable. That's what I knew. And the chaos and the disorganization of everything
Hmm.
was fine. And you would just go numb out there,
That's
and
right.
that was okay. But here, now that I know what that purpose is and I feel into who I am as a person, when
Yeah.
I disconnected, this hit so hard and it hurt so much. And
Yeah.
I saw the problem as something completely separate from me at this time.
Yes.
And I
Right.
saw it, and after discussions, I mean, a couple discussions inside the group, I actually let that go. And it became clear to me yesterday. Actually, it was in Q&A, so as part of the Thrive group and part of Light Leadership last night, it became clear that it's actually a powerful addition to the narrative because
That's right.
the women and the people that I've spoken to and the women that I'm working with now, they all have addiction
A
matters.
hundred percent. Yep.
I'm not going
And
to
they
say
will have moments where they relapse.
it's true. And so
Yep.
I figure if there's a valuable message to bring to the world, at least from my vantage point with my experience and who I am as a
Mm.
person, is I have to actually look at that and adopt that because that's actually a part of who it is that I'm speaking with. And it's like,
Mm.
I know what it feels like to feel the shame of that.
That's
I know
right.
what it feels like to hide behind it. And yet, when you bring yourself into all light and you throw yourself into it as best you can with
Hmm.
everything that you are, if there is something standing in the way, it's going to cast a pretty big shadow. And
Hmm.
so I saw that just recently, and that thing was alcoholism. Now, I hadn't
Yeah.
relapsed over the long period of time, but it came back just as dirty and ugly as it was before. And
Yeah.
I know that beast very, very well, and it is not one to tamper with, that's for sure. And certainly not in this space.
Yeah.
But for women who have experienced some of the experiences that I have and the ones that I can relate to now, a lot of them do
Hmm.
battle with this. So it
That's
was
right.
only in like since coming back after that call to Gabriel that I was actually willing to talk about this. This is the first
That's
time I'm
right.
being recorded talking about this, and I'm completely comfortable with it. It's not
Yes.
something that I feel embarrassed or shameful about,
That's right.
but I know a heck of a lot of people do. I talk about it quite a
Yeah.
bit with other people.
Yeah.
So, this is the kind of environment that Thrive is. It's like I mean, it's a perfect name for it, really. I am thriving. And it's like, I'm not embarrassed about those things because those things
Right.
are part of the purpose. They're not outside of it.
Right.
And so you,
Exactly.
you should have seen with the groups, I sucked tears back as hard as I could yesterday in both groups, but the support would just flooded in. There's nothing to be
Of
embarrassed about,
course.
nothing to be shameful. So that is actually going to be part of the mission moving forward, is that there's now this new inspiration to look at that differently.
Yeah.
And I'm very
Yeah.
grateful for it's a rough couple weeks, but I'm grateful.
Yeah.
Very, very much so.
Of course, because that's exactly it, that you have to be that embodied teacher and leader as well. And to know that and to have that real-time experience, you're not going to be helping them out of theory. You're going to be helping them out of the realness of that journey.
Yeah.
And this is why everybody always says this all the time, and I believe it more and more and more and more to be true, that there are pockets of people that we are each meant to serve and support by our own journey, by what we master, by what we heal through, by what we are able to walk through. And then it's like passing the baton, we pass the torch. And then we say, hey, I can help. And I love that you're having this awareness right now because this is going to be huge from such a tangible, real, not just talking out your ass theory kind of thing, like really living, walking, breathing, and knowing what to do and knowing what was needed to move you up and through that, which
Yes.
is huge. That's so huge.
Well, what I'm doing for these women is exactly what you guys have done for me. When I came in, our earliest conversations were about I I don't know who I am or even where I belong. And so the first conversation we had was just like that. I was looking for friendship. I was looking for a community. And I had tried a couple of other things, thinking there must be something wrong with me. And I know that that is not an uncommon statement or belief that people make about themselves. And so I found my people. And it's been in this space that I have been loved, and I've been loved a lot and nurtured exactly in the ways that I'm now doing for other people. What more could you ask for, really?
Oh my gosh, it's so beautiful. It's so beautiful. And I want to reflect that back to you because, and if everyone here, if we could hold space for Amelia for a moment, because you hold such loving space for everyone too. And the amount of love that you give back in when you're reading someone's share or post in Thrive or in Light Leadership, the love and the attention and the care. Like I even had to say to Amelia, I was like, you don't feel like you have to go and read everybody's thing and respond to everybody. Like that's who she is. She was going through and reading everyone. I was like, girl, it's okay. We got you. Like, it's okay. You could just be, right? But that's just naturally who you are. You give so much love and so much attention and care to everyone. So I want everyone here who's tuning in to really hold you for a moment and hold you in this sacred light and hold you and knowing that that same love and care that you give to everyone else around you in your world and in Thrive and in all those spaces, that you are also seen and heard and loved and held and supported for who you are, for who you're becoming, and also for this very beautiful and powerful purpose in supporting a group of women who really need it. And so we elevate you up and we hold this sacred space for you, knowing that you always have the light with you, through you, around you, guiding you, and supporting every step and every piece of your purpose so that you can continue to serve in bigger and bigger and bigger ways. And so it is. And so, as we complete here, I know that you're creating so many amazing things, and we love having you a part of our world. I feel like you are our sister, and I could cry just thinking about it because you're our sister, and we love you, and we appreciate you so, so much. And I see all that you're creating in the world, and I see all the expansion that you're bringing forth, and it's got to start here. It always has to start here. And so, this is why this particular masterclass that we're doing, Heal the One, Heal All. And I want to celebrate you for doing that because it takes courage. It takes inner strength and resilience to be able to continue to do that inner healing so that you continue to heal and transform and elevate the whole and everything else around you. And so I want to thank you for that. And as we wrap up, is there anything else that's on your heart that you feel called to share with the community?
Um, The only thing I would say is if you haven't, like, if you're hearing this message for the first time and you haven't reached out to Tara and Gabriel, I would really, really urge you to do it. That conversation changed my life, and it wasn't because it was filled with gimmicks and sales tactics and pressure or anything like that. It was that I was heard, and like I said, I came in there and I poured my heart out, and I don't normally do that because you can't really do that with people, right? But I was really looking for my place, and I felt like it was a safe place to do that. And if I stood a chance at relating at all, it's got to start somewhere. And so that changed everything for me. So if you haven't done that and had that moment and taken the step and just had that conversation, I seriously, seriously urge you to do that. That would be, if I could impart a gift, that is definitely what it would be.
That's so beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing that. I think it's a great piece right there. That is like so good. Because I think sometimes people are scared, right? It's like people are scared to jump on a call because they think they're going to be like sold and all that kind of stuff. And for us, it's just really a conversation. If it's a line, it's a line. If it's not, it's not. And I love that you bring that forward because it's really us just having a conversation, just like you and I here having a conversation. And so I
Absolutely.
appreciate you.
I love you guys so, so much. Thank you so much for all that you've done for me. Thank you.
Mm. Thank you. I love you so, so much. I can't wait to see you again.
I
Give you
know.
another big, warm, awesome, beautiful hug. I love you so much. I love you. I love you. I love you. And thank you so much for taking the time.
Thank you for
I appreciate
yours.
Thank you so much, honey.
Take care. Bye bye.
Bye.